Hello, welcome to the Well, Monday, September 18th. Maria from Integral Bloom and Angela from Grounded Dreamers. Invite everyone to pause and breathe. Feel into your system, yourself, and find your gratitudes in this moment. And just take a moment to really be with your breath, be with your gratitudes, and just let them come, let them flow. And just do a gratitude download. And take a moment to allow your heart to open, your mind to align with your heart. And we'll move into our reading for uplifting you in your soul journey this week.
Okay. All right. So this reading opens up with power struggle, some kind of a, toxic situation, toxic people, situations, patterns, thought patterns. This could be internal or external, but it's where there is toxic energy, and your guidance is to reduce your exposure to that. Especially because I keep thinking with those excessive thoughts that come through, that's a very hard thing to break. Because there's no one else involved. You can't claim, stop talking to me. Those thoughts, they can come and repeat. So this is it's like, how do I reduce my exposure? But also, if it is a situation in your external world, it's a good sign to just pull away momentarily, to regain your composure, to realign and tap into your self power again, so that you can empower choice, whether to stay, how much to engage in this, it's all your choice. And then to really reflect on what aspect of this situation have I caused? Mm-hmm. What is my part in this? How do I own my part in this? So, we don't want to end up being kind of self-sabotaging and, blaming someone else, but then you're in this situation and it's not really ending. So you end up like that, snake eating its tail kind of a thing, where you're being tumbled around in it, even though you had a part in it and you have a part in making a new choice to lessen it or remove it from your life. So that's the first opening card. It's deep and it's layered and there's a lot going on there, but let's see what the cards say as far as one path to move from it. And the first card I got is focus on your strengths. Mm-hmm. And I like that came next to the empowering card, reclaiming your power, but this doesn't mean asserting power over anyone. This is focusing on your inner strengths, those things, that the characteristics or the qualities or the love that you have that can move you through this. And once you sort of remove yourself or pull away as much as possible, like I said, if it's the repeated thoughts, pulling away from that is a little harder, but you can put into practice, even if it's a few times a day, where you can find respite from it. You can just create your own sanctuary within you that can kind of drown it out, even if it's for 5 minutes, because every of those little 5-minute increments builds and means something. Then I got even wisdom needs to rest. And this is what we're just saying. When there's too much information, you're overwhelmed, mm-hmm. You're pushing through, maybe in this fight, or maybe it's toward a project, maybe you're trying to complete something and you're working so hard that you never take a break. Well, if you remember, I think from last week's video, I think Maria would remember, that was the whole vibe, is if you're going toward a dream, don't make it beeline. It's great to be driven, but you have to plan in and schedule in rest and respite and realigning, or you'll get too overwhelmed to really, you'll get depleted of all your energy. Yeah. So this is, the guidance to slow down, let the dreams flow, let the ideas come without really taking any action yet. Mm-hmm. And that's
just be with it.
Just be with it. be with the possibilities too.
Yeah.
And then I got clairvoyance, and this is
Mhm.
tapping into your own intuition. So you're in this toxic thing, it's all kerfuffled, and then you pull away and you try to breathe it out and find your own alignment. Now your intuition is allowed to come through.
Mhm.
Have patience, right?
Yeah.
Allow those messages through, and then don't interpret them right away. Let the message come through. I don't know, I saw a feather today. Wow, what are the angels trying to say?
Or what
And
does
then
that mean to me?
right,
Yeah.
and instead of
Yeah.
yeah so now you have your intuition sort of activated here, because you're still in this pull away vibration. And then I got effortless. So now it's flowing. Now, even if you allow that intuition to flow, it is flowing through you, and allowing you the choice of a new direction, or a new response to this situation, to this toxicity. And then now that we have your flow, then I got dragonfly. Now your true calling, your true purpose, your new decision, your new alignment, whatever that is emerging. Now you're feeling it. You're feeling stronger in your own, right? And then I got follow through. So this is the point where you can take some action, right? We let it sort of germinate and bake and prepare, and letting things just be there, all the thoughts be there without taking action. Now you have this, now in this step, you can go ahead and take a step toward the resolution, the leaving of the toxic situation, the, reframing the thoughts in your mind, whatever action you want to take, you're ready for that now. And you move into harmony. And this is where your intuition and your heart align. And there's nothing more empowering than that, because your love and your connection to the divine can pretty much move you through almost anything in this world if it's activated, if it's aligned.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to add too that it's important to keep in mind that the realm that we're talking about, like belief and like the feather comes, and what meaning you create from that, that's a creation within us, right? That's an interpretation that we're creating. And so to be aware of that is so critical, because we could make an interpretation, oh, that feather must mean that something bad is going to happen, right? Okay, no, right? Like, how is the interpretation supporting you in your alignment, in your journey? How is it supporting you in the highest good possible? And the fact is the feather came. So that's the fact. And then the interpretation is the belief or the meaning that you make of it. And so I think it's just really important to make that distinction too, is to balance.
Yeah. And what we said here too is the part of the process is to let that feather be there, and without interpreting yet, let it.
Yeah, exactly.
What card was that? That was this lady here. Yeah, reflecting and just waiting. She's looking at a little bowl of water and just sort of waiting for the message.
Interpretation, and trust. Yeah, those are the three words on there.
And so, but having patience with it. And what I love to use as a guide is, when an intuitive thought or when an intuitive thing comes through in your life, try not to jump to right away to your mind and decide what that means.
It must mean this.
Feel it first. How does that make me feel? It's really how I read. It's the feelings. My mouth is going a million miles a minute, and that is the processing, but the feelings are there. And I've gotten to where they can arise, and I'm already, on it. I don't skip that part, right? I let the feeling, the vibe be there with me, and then I can interpret it. So it's important to make sure, even if it's a split second of tapping into how your emotional or spiritual response comes through, before you say it out loud, and this is what the feather means or whatever. Yeah. So there is that step of the feeling response. That's really important, because that's your heart space.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. And also, though, I want to add, though, that feelings are also how we interpret our feelings is also so critical. So, what you're doing is you're noticing your feelings, you're being with your feelings, you're segmenting even out the experience of your feelings, and you're giving reflection and awareness to your feelings. And then you're allowing yourself to be with what then, what meaning gets created. So
or to
it's
claim them or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
very important you're pausing and being with your feeling experience in a way that you're using awareness and you're using, so that even a split second of a pause,
Yeah.
so that's really critical.
Yeah.
Because a feeling could be fear, and one might think, oh, that feather means something bad is going to happen. It's like, okay, well, again, that's an interpretation. So it's like pausing and getting some space and awareness so you can really have clarity in the reflection of what meaning is getting created. It's just so important.
Like, what if you have a feather that comes through and it's perfectly white and fluffy and unadorned and just perfect, and then one that comes through mangled and filled with dirt and that got stomped on in the dirt, like, but they're both feathers, right? So yeah, it's true. Your the reception of its presence, and then the tuning into that intuitive feeling, and then we work to the interpretation. Yeah. And it could be just a split second. You're totally right there. Yeah.
So pausing and being with the reading and what you are seeing in your experience, what meaning is coming through for you, what guidance in your journey feels important to you, and just taking a moment to really tune into what where your focus needs to go, what you care about, and what's important for you in your journey's growth. Good, and let's come back to the second part of the reading.
Okay, so we left off in harmony and back in tune with our own power. And now we can step back into the situation aligned. We can step back into the volatility aligned, right? Now our response can be different, it can be different from I'm stuck here, they're not hearing me, I can't stop these thoughts. Now you're aligned. So your response to that same volatility that really never left can be different. It starts with recognizing you have choices, right? Which just if the fact that you pulled away and thought, okay, let me just clear this, let me take a break, right? That was a choice, right? And you came back stronger. And then the universe always reminds us to ground and clear, right? We got tree and rain, and this is grounding your physical body and your energy. And then the purification is, cleansing the toxicity from your body, from your mind, and really breathing through it. So this is basically taking time to meditate. And like we said earlier, if this is like that sort of self-talk loop, do it several times a day for 2 minutes, right? Just so that you're creating a new pattern. You're creating a new energy that's tucked in between the repeated thoughts or the destructive patterns that you find yourself in. But create a new pattern. It doesn't have to be, I wash all this away now, and now I'm going to ground and everything's going to be clear. It doesn't have to be that. It probably won't, because once you're embroiled in something, in this heavy energy, it's going to take some massaging and some maneuvering to move from it. So incorporate or introduce a new pattern, which is the grounding and the clearing of your thoughts. And then I pulled integration. So now you've created that new pattern. The toxicity is still there, but you're in the middle of all of it. And it's okay to let it all be there, to let it all be part of your experience. Because from there, from that sort of neutral, accepting, allowing position to have all these energies all around you, you get the choice to move from it. You get to be in a neutral place to see what direction you want to move toward it.
All that space.
you create that space from it, right? Exactly.
Exactly.
And then I pulled awareness, and this is when the veil starts to lift. Now you're like, oh, I do have a choice in this. It does, like, I pulled away for a day from this hard situation at work, whatever. I took a day off, and now I feel more myself already, even just for one day. So this does work. I can find my way through this intact, with my energy, my full energy intact. And then I pulled new vision. So the veil lifted in the last card, and now you got your sights set. Now you know where to go. Now you know what step to take. And this doesn't, like we said, it's not washing it all away and, but that one step. Okay. I liked the way I stopped and paused and meditated 6 times yesterday amid this crazy situation at work. And I was able to find those 2 minutes, every time for myself. I like how that worked. I'm going to do that more. I feel that will, ease me out of this situation. And then the final card I got is freedom. And that's what all of this is about, is, it's starting with reclaiming your power and ending in freedom. So your purpose shines through in that, when you are able to make sure that you don't mix what parts of this big, powerful energy are yours and are from other, or from thoughts or whatever. You don't mix that up, because you've created, like Maria said, this space, this sort of bubble that you can move around in freely, around toxic people, but you're intact.
Yeah. So it's that really presencing in that I amness of self, and then allowing all these different components and circumstances and interpretations, opinions, all of that stuff, just letting it be and breathing, even if it's 3 seconds, right, in that space, and then tuning into, okay, what's my choice? It's so powerful. Choosing from a place of spaciousness and clarity, coming from letting all of it be, and then choosing. And then choosing, that's the freedom. Having that space. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Once again, such an uplifting reading. And I invite everyone to take a moment to see what you see for yourself in this reading, and set your intentions for this week. Where in your life do you want to bring intentionality from today's reading to grow? And also, our challenge this month, be sure to watch the September challenge video. And it's really in alignment with this reading, right? It's about really tuning into your senses, right? So tuning into your senses.
Yeah, it breaks it down even more to create these pauses, but then specifically incorporate, activate present moment awareness through your 5 senses, one at a time.
Yeah.
So pulling away, and then, what am I hearing now? I hear the birds, and that is your reality right now.
Well, and what that also helps us do is to presence to the groundedness of the moment, the be here now. And those are the facts, if you will, of the now. Like in this moment, I'm breathing in through my nose, I'm exhaling through my mouth. In this moment, I'm hearing the fan. In this moment, I am smelling incense. All of those things, all of those engaging our senses ways of being in the present moment are so critical. And that's our challenge in September, is to really practice that. So. Awesome. Thank you so much, and have a great week, everyone.